Assalamu alaikum, grade 10 computer science students. We will start lesson number 14, and in this lesson we will discuss the question answers. Before we start this lesson, you have you are advised to open your book on page 52 and try to solve the question yourself. And once you tried it, then you check your answers. Okay, describe the fetch execute cycle carried out in the von Neumann architecture. We studied about the von Neumann architecture and we studied about the fetch execute cycle. Okay, fetch means to get something and execute means to run something. So basically there are three steps. First instruction is fetched, then decode means to understand it, and then execute means to run it. Okay, so the processor checks the program counter to see which instruction to run next. This is the first step. Processor will check the program counter to see which instruction to run next. What it means that the processor, before it picks the instruction, looks at the program counter, and the program counter gives the address and the memory where the instruction is. So from that address the processor will fetch the instruction based on the memory location. Once the instruction has been fetched, it needs to be decoded. So what is mean by decoded? Decoded means to understand it. For example, you are taking one value, putting into the ALU, and then taking a different value from a register and adding two together. So once this is complete, the processor goes back to the program counter. So it means what? If you want to add two numbers, this instruction will be executed, and once it is finished, it will go back to the program counter where the processor will search for the address of the next instruction be picked from the memory, and this completes this one cycle, and for the next cycle, well, it will have the same process again. What is a register? You may have heard about the different types of registers, so here is the answer. It's also called internal memory or immediate access memory store. A register is a small amount of fast memory within the processor where the ALU or the control unit can store and exchange values needed to execute the instruction. So basically, what are the registers inside the processor? These are the locations where the processor can do different things, and the ALU or the control unit can store and change the values and execute them. This is question number 3, and you have to draw a line to solve this. So for this I will take the pen. Okay, the first one is control unit. So as you know, control unit is a unit that manages the flow of data. So we draw a line here. Okay, and I'll take a different color so it's easy for us to differentiate. And the connection between components and the CPU along the information travels, as you know, this is bus, so we will make a line here. Okay, next, registers and the values in which values are stored to have calculations carried out on them. So what is the register? It is the accumulator. So I draw a different color line here, and the other one, unit that carries out calculations on data in the CPU. Unit that carries out calculations, it is ALU. So I draw a different color line here, and this is ALU. So as I told you, first you try to solve the questions yourself, and then you see the answers to confirm it. Okay, next question. Let's move to the next question. Question number 4. Define 3 functions of an operating system. You know, there are many functions of the operating systems, and this question is many times asked in the exam. So what the question exactly means? Question means what the operating system do. Most important thing during solving the questions is try to understand the question first. What you do is some students make the answer, write the answer in a hurry, and then their answers are wrong. Okay, so it provides interface between user and the hardware. We have discussed it before. You go back to the lesson and you will understand that operating system establishes communication between the user and the hardware. If the user wants to tell something to the computer, it goes through operating system. It manages CPU time for active applications. You can run many programs at the same time, so all of them need CPU time. So this is done by the operating system. It manages memory for active applications. It manages memory for active application means what? All programs that are running on the computer, it needs to be loaded into the memory. So the operating system allocates appropriate memory to each applications or programs that are currently open on the computer. And it manages system security. Many users can be connected to the same computer, and each one have different username and passwords, and this is done by the operating system. There are some other jobs also, but these 4 are important, and you can write any 3 for the answer. You can write this as well. It manages between different parts of the computer. It means communication. I have missed here communication. It manages communication between different parts of the computer. If one part of the computer want to send something to the other part of the computer, for example from the hard disk, you want to open a file and then you want to print it or you want to save it, so that is done through operating system. Or when you type something and you are giving the instructions and you want to save something, instruction for saving something from the keyboard or mouse, this instruction will go and it will communicate with the hard disk, but this communication is established through operating system. Okay, we are done with today's lesson. If you have any question, any confusion, you can send a message on WhatsApp. Thank you.